Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you, but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away.
I need help, I'm going through hell. I fake like I'm fine, but I know you can't tell. Like nothing I found, my mind overwhelms. I think that I'm broken, but I hope you can't help. I know I'm not perfect, but some days I feel far more worthless. Baby, you make me feel nervous. If I still have you, I have purpose. It's all worth it.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. I guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away. Told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray. As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube.
breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
I have been talking. That's probably why Patricia was calling. I've been talking with my mute on. I did the same thing Cher did. Cher did the same thing last night. Must be going around. Good morning, all. So let me start over from the beginning. I am refreshed. I've slept well. I am feeling great this morning. And I'm so happy that all of you guys are here. So good morning, Radmilla. Bullhorn Betty's present. Matt. And let me say what I said earlier. I enjoyed being over there. And Ziggy, I'm glad Ziggy's in Tennessee. It's great. I'm sorry she's been getting, like, that lady this morning was absolutely nuts. Who is that involved in somebody's personal life? Like, she's telling me, listen to this, guys. You guys don't know this, but, well, maybe you do. I think I said it multiple times. So I went and got the oil change on the car, and I had to get a nail out of my tire. So I took it in for service, right? They have to take the tire completely off to patch the hole on your tire. They don't just, plug it like they used to in the older days, right? Nobody told me anything about these back brakes. So this lady is criticizing me, saying, why didn't you check your back brake? Have you ever tried to check your brakes with your tire on? It's impossible. Obviously, so this lady has no idea what she's talking about. And, but it was frustrating. I hate when people go in somebody's chat and hijack them. And she did nothing but go in there just to frustrate Ziggy. And, I could tell Ziggy was getting frustrated. And I'm just, she's just trying to do her thing, talk to her audience. And you got this a-hole that's higher than a kite on all these different things, coming and wagging her finger at everybody else. That woman needs to look at her own life before she starts judging any one of us. Go back to where you came from, babe. That's all I got to say. Sorry. So good morning, Tattoo, Thrift, and Coffee. I love that. Good morning to you. Cool Gamer, nice to see you. Belinda. Sage, it's great to see you. Crime B from the UK over across the pond. It's nice to have you here this morning. Joanne. Did you sleep? SHCB, good morning. Stitching, bitching, and true crime. I am Team Summer. We love our coffee clubbers. Bama Cat, middle of Tennessee. We love that. And then I go through all the muted. No sound. I finally got to it. And I'm like, oh, crap, I'm muted. What am I doing? Thank you, guys. I hope you guys can hear me now. Actually, I know you guys can hear me now. Just going on. Look at all that. Oh no, she isn't seeing the chat. You guys know it. I sit here and talk. I don't even pay attention to the chat. It's not that I do it. It's just when I'm talking and then I stop and I go back, but the chat's up, so I miss a lot of people. And I remember one person actually said, I don't want people in your chat answering my question. I want you. I think it was like a month ago. And I'm like, I don't answer your question. If you're used to my channel, you know that if you have questions and you want it answered, a lot of people in the chat will answer it for you because they know I don't monitor the chat as well, And then when I do, I go back and I look to see, it just, and I scroll through and whatever. Look at all you guys. I'm so sorry. I didn't have sound. I'm so sorry. So that means I'm way behind. Let me get through all this no sound stuff. I love that. Good morning, Jackie. Guys, if I missed you this morning, electronic medium, it's nice to see you here, dear. Aaron, nice to see you. Sherry Ann, I think you were in here a couple times and I missed you. So good morning and everything. Ruby, Texaholic, Ruby Jean, Rhonda, nice to see you. Trisha. What's up, Buttercup? Misdemeanor. Hey. Okay. Just having a conversation. Just a morning thing. Yeah, and actually, I think I started out with, I hate going live knowing that Ziggy is live, but I have to get on with my day. And as you know, once we start getting in these streets out here, it's hit or miss with the internet and uploading and stuff like that. So I've got to do this first thing before I start my day. And actually, while you guys are all in here, I'm going to find out what you guys would like to see. We're here, and I've got things in running that I've got to do. I've got a few things that I personally want to do, but I also want to see what you guys would like to see. We're here. Is there a certain area in Sullivan County or Hawkins County that I should go at? So we're going to be discussing that. So start thinking. Don't start putting it in yet. Don't start putting it in yet, but start thinking about, what you would like to see, what you guys would like to, what content we're here. And I've got to meet with the sheriff, which is another reason why I decided to go live now, because I'm going to be meeting with the sheriff this morning, or a deputy at the sheriff's office, to see where we're going to be setting up. Tomorrow, if you guys are in town and you guys want to volunteer, we've got to do sound check. We got to blow up 50 balloons. We've got to set up the tables. We got a lot of stuff to do. So we're going to be meeting at the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office at 5:30. Anybody that would like to volunteer or come out and help out with the setup, please do so. 117 Justice Center Drive in Hawkins County. That's where we will be. And, more hands we have, the sooner we can get stuff done and move on. And then, of course, the event will start at 7. So, again, we got some legwork that still needs to be done in making sure that this is started out right. So good morning. Gigi for life, Pamela Dabbs. And I don't know if I said good morning to you, Patricia, but if I didn't, good morning. I saw that you called, but I'm obviously alive and could answer. Karen. Of course, it went back up again. Nancy B. Eni, am I saying that right? Crystal. Guidance. Good morning. Wow, I did jump over a lot of people. Emma Lou, it's nice to see you again. Hatter as Lighthouse. Cindy S. Trenda. Trisha. Moon. Is it Midnight Moons? I love that. That's a pretty name. Lana. So if I missed you guys, because I'm trying to go up to make sure, because it just pops down. It drives me nuts. I don't know if it's because I move it too quickly or what. Sweet Pineapple. I think I said, Anise says here this morning, good morning, girlfriend. Guys, it's not my place, and Anissa popping in here. It is not my place to tell people's business, especially personal business here. But there is a mod that could use our prayers and love this morning. And so we're just going to, take a moment of silence for one of our mods. If she would like to tell the people in the chat at some time in the future, I am, she knows she can, but it's not for me to say. But if you guys can keep, and we'll just say one of our mods, just pray if you can for our mod. That will be our mod. I'd really appreciate that. She could really use all the love, prayer, and support. I wish I could tell you more, but again, not my place, not my right to do so. And just know that we have a mod, a loved mod in this chat that is having, is going through some pain this morning. And we just want to lift her up and give her a big old, virtual hug. We care about all the people that come here. But our mods work very hard and have a special place in my heart. And it's just, so anyways, Crystal, Bama Cat. I think I got everybody. Goonie for life. Yes, many prayers. Thank you guys. Melody, nice to see you. Cotton Candy Boobs. Gonna go there. It's too early. My brain is already in the gutter. Oh, Emma. Sepsis kills. How are you doing, love bug? I hope you're doing well. Yes, thank you, Jackie. Thank you. Elisa, nice to see you. Oh, that's wonderful. We got some turtle love in here. That's wonderful. Wonderful. I know, right? We are a mod family there for each other. Yeah, absolutely. It's again, not my business, not my place to put people's personal information, but when I know somebody's struggling or, having some, heartaches and things are not going well, our vibes can kind of help pick those people up, and when I'm having a bad day, you guys pick me up. So hopefully she sees this. I don't see her in the chat, but I know she'll catch me on a replay, and, she'll see the love. She'll see the love. She'll see the love. So, yeah, of course you're visible. Why wouldn't you be? Did you not? I said good morning to you, and I even said that I couldn't pick up the phone. I saw you calling, and I just couldn't pick up the phone because I'm live. So, yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Patricia is our Bullhorn Betty channel. What is it? Artist? I guess it would be. She did I don't have the stuff here, but she does some pretty work that I still need frames. I need to get some frames for. I don't know what my problem is. I really don't. So guys, I'm not going to be on here too awful long. Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, and don't forget, Justice for All. Good morning. Good morning, love. So, don't forget to say your prayer for our friendly mod. Again, it's just going to be a general prayer for her. And we do love her very much, and just want to lift her up in bullhorn, style. So at the end of the day, what does it say? Stay hydrated up there. It will be a strong humidity. Yeah. I'm used to. Don't forget, I used to stand out in front of 5 weeks every day, every single day in front of Brian Laundrie's home in 100-degree heat. Trust me, I know about hydration. And not only that, but I've got one of those cases of water. Like I got a case of water back there with like 24 bottles of water. And I don't take that out. Even here, I just grabbed a few and threw in the refrigerator. But I got the majority out there so I don't walk off and leave it. Oh, awesome. Okay, Justice for All. Whenever you get here, just call me. We're going to be around. They set up, I don't know if you guys heard me. That's right. You were over in Ziggy's chat. So I really think anybody that comes in needs to go out to the water hole where the lovely gals set up. And that reminds me, I'm going to show you. Hold on, let me pull it up. I want to show you. You guys been hearing me talk about these rubber duckies, right? And I wanted to show them to you guys. It is so cute. It really is so cute. And really, my picture didn't come in clear. Oh, there it goes. Okay, let me bring it up on here. There they are. So one of our gals that came into town, they're going to be here 5 days, just part of, Summer's Army. Summer's Army is huge. It is absolutely huge. Whether or not we agree with our opinions and of the situation, she left these little duckies from Illinois all the way to here. And she puts them in little spots that kids can grab them and take them. And in addition to making sure that she put an Amber Alert flyer in every single rest stop and bathroom that she could stop at. Good morning, Rebel. Good morning. And I just thought, they are just some of the sweetest gals and just sweet. She actually ended up digging. Remember that spot I found when I was back in April when I was doing, I actually got the video. So I'll pull that back here and look for that video. And I'm going to show you, this girl got down. She digging. She brought a, little, shovel that folds up, and pull it out. We went back there and they moved the stuff. Actually, let me find that video now and see if I can play it for you guys. And again, guys, remember, this is raw footage. I really haven't edited it. That's so funny saying that. Edited it. And there's a couple videos here, So we'll go through one and then we'll go through another. So let me just back my little booty out of here. Yes, I thought, Not only that, was it prayers for Ahmad? Thank you. Not only that, also, but it just, these are creative things that people think of just to give awareness to Summer Wells. These are people from all over the country that are doing stuff like Tammy and her sister Peggy all over the country, bringing awareness to Summer Wells' case. We all have our part in this, and people are just, very creative, and I love it. It melts my heart, and I know it melts a lot of other people's heart, across the country. And I hope they do the same. Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, Justin. These kinds of people are the ones that make it worth it for us creators. You have no idea how much you guys are appreciated. Absolutely. Hands down. Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and load up the open this up. Okay, we'll pull it back on the stream. And here we are. That's me walking. Hold on, let me find these things again. Here it is. Let it start. And guys, I'm on,
the people that looks like they may have done something back here. Or was it around?
Sorry, it's a little bouncy, but I was walking.
Looks like more people came back here and put stuff over it, but I don't see. There it is. Yeah, somebody put trees back here, but it's right over there. See it? Yeah. There it is. Yep, there it is. So no, they never did anything with it. But it just looks odd. And all this stuff here was not here.
No, I remember the video. Yeah, it wasn't.
It looked like they took all the stuff that was over there
And moved it here.
and moved it here.
That does look weird. Okay, let me see here. Can you figure out how to show the rules? I've never used it before. Have you ever used a?
No.
So we are back at that spot. If you guys remember the Reverend Donna map that I followed, and I walked around that big tree pile, and there was that pile with the rock right in the center of it, and it spooked me out because I kind of really wasn't expecting it. And what ended up happening was there was another pile across the way. And now that has been cleared up, and it looks like they took that whole pile of crap and drug it over there to hide it because they knew people were following
I was
this
walking.
mess.
They were hitting me in my face.
Thank you, Love Bug.
And they're like, well, this is too new, and it might have been too new, but I just don't know.
Yeah, with the stone on top of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm hoping I don't dig up somebody's dog.
That's what, but see that rock placed right in the middle?
Yeah.
So there you have it. Law enforcement didn't do anything with it. They came out and met, stitching, bitching, and time, true crime. Sorry that you're going through it. Nothing worse than teeth issues or, getting extractions and stuff like that. So she started digging. Let me see if I can find one that's a little bit further in. Let's see what this one is. I think this is when I started. We won't watch the whole 7 hours or 7 minutes.
I'm going to try to get an umbrella.
And look at that cloud. It started raining on us. So I walk all the way back, almost slip to get an umbrella. I get all the way back with the umbrella, open it up, and it completely stops raining. Like,
well, on the other side, away, hard work.
But it was just rocks, and more rocks.
Be in the middle of the pile as opposed to the
edges, right?
Yeah. Said no. He goes, I don't feel comfortable. He goes, if anything happens to you, mean, I'm glad we got involved in the case because, you know, it's a,
And I'll be putting that up in a video. That's why I'm kind of popping through it. I don't want to show you guys too much.
capture it again. Like there is just, you can't see nobody can see anybody back here. Like people don't even know we're back here except because of our vehicles up front. We're almost through the rock. Tammy has been doing a fabulous job digging.
She is our lady that put the rubber duckies everywhere.
And I don't want to hear people saying you should let law enforcement do this because law enforcement was out here with me in April. They were out here with me 2 months ago in April, and they chose not to see what was in this area. They didn't take it.
Just to remind you, 2 months ago.
But I think it's because they asked
2
me.
days ago, they had every opportunity. It's not considered a crime scene, not considered anything but a mound of dirt to them.
Law enforcement gives psychics. And it's sad because some of them I hear have relevant information and have helped in cases. Oh, geez.
No. Because the mound could have been just high, but we buried in the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
We need to go into the dirt a little.
Is that coming in clear on your end, guys? I just want to make sure.
I don't know how much more I want to, because this ground is hard. And that was hard when you got it. That could be, and that's a telltale sign. I mean, if the ground is hard, then it's settled. That means it wasn't disturbed underneath. Is the ground itself hard? If it's hard, then the chances of it actually being, yeah, it looks pretty hard.
It's kind of hard, and
yeah.
So, long story short,
Which would have been which would probably in the ground, it probably wouldn't.
So long story short is it didn't appear that anything was in that spot. But again, don't want people saying, you know, because we gave them opportunity. Clearly, they didn't think it was anything. We wanted to dig it up. That's our right to do. Just FYI. I saw ZZT come in. Good morning. Race Girl, good morning. So as many of you guys know, I am officially in Rogersville, Tennessee. Been in Rogersville, Tennessee since yesterday morning. You know, I was out at the dam recording, and a couple ladies got turned around and went the wrong direction and happened to pass and saw somebody standing out there with a sign and recording, blonde hair, you know. So they come pulling up, and I knew it was, you know, Team Summer. And because you could see they had their signs on every single window. You know, they had the Amber Alert signs on every single window. And it was just, you know, pretty. And I'm like, oh, you guys must be Summer's Army. You know, we're all part of it. Everybody that's been following this case and has fallen in love with this little 5-year-old girl that's now 6. She stole our hearts. I mean, that's all there is to it. This little girl has stole our hearts. And we're trying to find answers for her. We're trying to find justice for her. We're trying to bring her home safe. But, you know, we also are realistic people. In all that optimism, we have to use our common sense. Are there people that are found many years later? You're right. And we can always pray and hope for that. But in the grand scheme of things, the majority of children that have been missing this long don't make it back safe. And that's just reality. Does that mean it's going to be, that's Summer's story? No, that doesn't mean that that's Summer's story. We are going merely off statistics. We're going merely off the majority of cases that are similar to Summer's. And it's sad. And no matter how we look at it, it breaks our heart because we have all fell in love with this little girl that has blonde hair and blue eyes that appeared to just be born in the wrong home. Those boys were just born in the wrong home. You know, some of us pulled the ticket, and you know we're very blessed from the minute we're born to throughout our life, and some just aren't, and it breaks our heart. And it breaks our heart that this beautiful girl that is on that missing person flyer is not the girl that went missing. The girl that went missing was a beautiful baby girl, but she was thin. She was bald-headed. She had discolored teeth. She looked like a cancer patient. That's the baby that went missing. And it breaks my heart. And we all feel for her. Because I think in the pit of our stomach, we know something bad happened to her. And we are just watching helplessly, as we go through this entire process, helplessly. And people don't like feeling helpless. I know I don't like feeling helpless. I don't feel like, depending on somebody, but we are. Who are we dependent on? We are dependent on law enforcement doing an amazing job in this case. We are dependent on law enforcement getting to the bottom of this case. We are dependent on law enforcement bringing justice for Summer Wells. And thank you, Tracy. It's nice to see you. Nice to see you. Moon Shadow, it's great to see you. Yeah, I agree. Yes, I agree with some picture. She looks sick. Yeah, I think that's the sentiments. And, and it's sad, but, do we want to really this, I'm an advocate for change in the Department of Children and Family Services and Child Welfare across this country. I think that this is something that we have got to talk about on a national level, hands down. But the people that are in these facilities, did they let them down? Did they? Or is it the funding, the lack of resources for them, the lack of bodies in these departments, stretching these people? Now, mind you, these people, these caseworkers, they didn't get into this business because they're making money. These people work extended hours, deal with some of the most horrific cases you could ever imagine, and they get paid crap for salary. They're constantly being defunded by our government, our big government. Frankie, Miss Frankie, I'm glad to see you can comment. I think it was the subscribe button. I think when I had it on subscription mode, I don't think you were on there, and I'm so sorry for yesterday. So I'm glad to see you back today, and I'm glad you can comment. These subhuman channels protecting these parents are criminal, chasing lies. I have to. It's sickening, and it's like every time we turn around, they concoct another just disgusting idea of what could have happened to her. No matter how many times you're going to throw something out, like, what professional private investigating company that we are going to take legitimately is going to now, a year later, interject an animal attack? Has he ever even investigated? I mean, he is a private investigator. Has he even investigated what an animal attack looks like? If there was an animal attack on this child, it would be gory. They would be some massive evidence, not just in one small area, but sprung across the area wherever that animal would have drug and clothing, skin, tissue. I mean, let's go through the laundry list. It's gory. I get it. But let's go through the laundry list if there really was an animal attack. Never mind the sound that everybody on that entire mountain would hear. I mean, I'm sure if anybody lives in a house in a neighborhood, you've heard a cat fight. You've heard two cats, just kitties. I mean, these things are like this big, a foot, 2 feet with a tail long, right? My house is a concrete block home. I've got double pane windows. I replaced the windows in that house. Those are new windows not new, they're 10 years old now, but they are, double paned windows. I don't hear the neighbor playing his radio loud, but let a cat start fighting. let the two neighborhood cats, two tomcats go at it. I mean, you hear it. Now you're going to take that and make that a real large animal. And you're going to tell me now, a year later, there's a possibility of an animal attack? Like, I'm sitting here when I read that article, and it's like, oh my goodness. Now we're talking about animal attack. So now the Wells are off the abduction theory. Why? Because there's no evidence of it. They've already shot themselves in the foot by telling the entire world that there is no way she would have wandered off that property. So now they can't use that one. So what else can they start using? It has to be an animal. We can't blame the boys anymore. So let's blame the wildlife. I'm sorry. It's just when I think people can't get any more insane. And then I have a private investigative company. Like, now, every time I'll see CNC investigations, I'm going to think hocus pocus. Like, I will never, ever take them legitimately as a legitimate private investigator ever again. Because I'm sorry, out the gate with all those people on the ground, combing that area within hours of Summer Wells going missing. And then now you're going to interject a animal into the mix. They would have found evidence of an animal attack early on. You're talking about clothing being ripped. You're talking about a massive amount of blood and drags and that go for quite a while. You're going to find it's not a pretty scene. It's not where they just snatch you up and you're never seen again. Animal attacks aren't like that. My best friend, I talk about him all the time, the one that passed away that had to be sent to, I think, did he go to New Jersey or Philadelphia? I can't remember where his family sent him. I'm sorry, because I didn't go to his funeral because it was out of state. He was here when he was in Florida when he passed away. And he actually worked at the Big Cat Habitat. If any of you guys have heard that name before, yes, you're right. He lived on the property at Big Cat Habitat. He fed the lions and ligers and tigers. And he had his hand in the cage. And although he didn't lose his arm, I mean, he's got that big scratch from the paws. And it was a bloody mess. And he had to have his arm stitched back up, and he forever held those scars. But his children got to be raised next to, and took care of monkeys and other animals on the property. It's almost, of course, he never let the children feed the big tigers unless they, the food was on a stick or something like that. But they got to get raised in that. I would pick pictures of a monkey in a diaper with his daughter Harley holding it. It was cute. It was very, very cute. I miss him. I truly miss him. He was my best friend. He was truly one of my besties, and he'll forever be missed. Yes, there would be, and not only that, the area would be so wide. It's like, and just like that neighbor was talking about it, she had wandered off and she had passed away out there in the woods. You'd practically have to be on top of her to see her with how dense the foliage and everything else is out there. You wouldn't have to worry about that because somebody would have been, if it was an animal attack, somebody would have been on top of something, articles of clothing. And think about it, the amount of blood that would be just drugged through a large area. It's idiotic. It makes you, yeah, everywhere. It's not something that just happens and you don't see any evidence of it. Never once in the whole entire year. And it's funny because that private investigator is stating his truth to the media. And he's like, even law enforcement agrees. No, law enforcement ain't agreeing with crap. Trust me, we were there. They didn't agree. They listened. They may nod their head as they listen, That doesn't mean they agree with you, dude. Sorry. The neighbors have not seen him. I don't know, I don't know how they've been doing that. How can you search in an area where people are hyper vigilant and watching every little thing you do, and now have cameras just about on everything that they own, because this little girl went missing, but somehow you're able to sneak past all that every single month since she disappeared? Give me a break. And again, it makes me not trust them. I will probably, anytime I ever see CNC investigations involved in a case, I will roll my eyes. I no longer have faith in their ability to do a good job. Because to me, when they bring up this animal attack and put it all through the newspaper just to change the narrative yet again, it lets me know that their integrity is not there. It's just not. I don't believe so. These, in my opinion, all these theories that are coming around, you got to look at this. Explain to me why a guy of faith, and he is a guy of faith. He's we can't dispute that. Whether we think he's weird in his faith or whatever, he is a God of faith. He's a guy of faith. Okay. Why would anybody put their neck out that big, that long for them? And not only that, but I found out they didn't know him very long. They've only seen him just a handful of times. They did not know him well. So it's not like it was their bestie that they could just walk up and say, oh, hey, I got a 5-year-old kid, passed out in the car, never woke up. I need to get rid of her. I wouldn't do that for my best friend. Definitely would not do it for, what I would do? If somebody approached me like that, I'd pick up the phone and call 911. That guy, Dave Dotson, had everything to lose and nothing to gain. If there was, for people to be talked into something like this, they have to have a benefit. Having no benefit whatsoever, you're not doing it. In my opinion, let me throw that out there. In my opinion. Yes. Social work is a stressful job mentally and emotionally. It's hard not bringing the things you experience home with you. You are taking care of numerous families. Yes. And it's not, and listen, guys, there are some bad apples, just like in any organization that has, thousands of employees, there are going to be those piece of crap social workers, just like there are some piece of crap law enforcement officers, and those officers go to jail in due time. You know what I'm saying? And they give a stink to the good officers. And it's sad that they do, because there's amazing just like there's amazing social workers that go well beyond the call of duty in their work. I don't blame the social worker trying to do their job. I blame the system that's handcuffed them in doing their job, not providing them the money or the resources to properly do their job. And that is the main problem, in my opinion. When you look at all of the issues that surround and plague the alphabet soup of child welfare, it comes down to the lack of funding that we pay millions and billions of dollars for year over year to make sure the children of this country are protected. And our government wants to red tape everything, wants to restrict this, wants to restrict that, doesn't want to pay this, doesn't want to give, this. It's sickening. We have, with our drug epidemic in this country, we should be funneling money into this, and we should be properly managing those funds. Anything that has to do with the government, I don't care what side of the aisle you are on, trust me, you've got anything with .gov after it, it's going to be screwed up. I don't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat. I am not biased in any way when it comes to that. You've got .gov behind it, it's going to be screwed up out the gate. Sorry. That's just my opinion. But you can't privatize it, because they've privatized the jails, and you see what a hot mess that crap is. And you know what? This is what the neighbor told me. He said there's some kind of, he told me what the name of it is, and I said it over and over again so I wouldn't forget it. And I forgot it. But apparently there is a, like something that grows on the ground and has thorns in it. And I guess the thorn has poison or venom, or I guess it would be poison, not venom. Venom probably comes out of a snake. I don't know what it's called, but it has a poison to it. And he said that it goes from, you prick yourself, you walk on it, it starts burning. But he said, but after about 15 or 20 minutes, he started getting lightheaded. And it was from this one particular, and he says he could see it. Like we were standing there talking. He was in his SUV, and he's looking, he goes, I think that's it right there. And I'm like, well, I'm not going on the property. And he goes, probably a good thing. Because as many of you know, I respect the law. I do not go on property. I will videotape from the public easeway where I am, not violating any kind of laws, despite what haters may try to lie and tell you I do. Let's see here. All those dogs, no animals left. There's no children are in that home. No animals are in that home. No people are in that home. And somebody sent me a photo, JLR published that he saw somebody leaving with a canoe, and somebody sent me a photo, and it looked like the green truck that Don drove to meet Brian Enton in for that interview. It was almost a spitting image. They sent me screenshots of both. And I'm like, oh, so it might have actually been Candace that went and got the canoe. Yeah. Thank you, Anissa, for keeping everybody abreast of where we're going. Yeah, anyways, I just don't think, that Dave Dotson, he's got children too. And I talked to his daughter personally. I talked to Dave Dotson's daughter face to face in January. And, she was raised by her dad. She loves her dad. I'm sorry, but, even many of you guys know that have been following me know that me and my father do not communicate well. We talk to each other occasionally, but we don't have a really good relationship anymore. And I still would never in a million years, I know my father. I know him better than just about anybody. At one time, he was like my best friend. He was my superhero, as a young child. I didn't know how dysfunctional my household was. It wasn't until I started realizing that my household was crazier than my friends' households, and it had nothing compared to Don and Candace's household. My problems pale in comparison to what those children lived through. I can promise you that. And I don't ever, if somebody came and tried to convince me my father was responsible for something like this, I would be like, no, he's not. You may look good when you talk about it, but if you don't know the person, it's kind of hard for you to point the finger at them. And I just don't see where somebody's going to put their neck out that far. I just don't see it. Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible, but is it probable? And that's where my problem lies. Now, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. If you guys believe Dave Dotson would help these despicable people get rid of a 5-year-old child, I mean, that's sad that you would think so low of a person you've never met. But with that being said, we have to look at what would he benefit from doing that? Because every time you in anything, in all crimes, there's got to be motive, means, and opportunity. What would the motive be? He had no motive. He's not on drugs. He's not out there on their property partying with them. They don't owe him a debt. He doesn't owe them a debt. So why would anybody be willing to help them with this? I don't see it. I just don't see it. Quite frankly, those people, Don, Candace, and Grandis, are capable of getting themselves in trouble all by themselves. Period. In my opinion. I agree with you. Could not agree with you more. You know what's weird is there is, and I can't wait to collaborate with Miss Cher because she's got a great interview. I know we've been talking about it for weeks, and I promise you it is coming. It's just going to have to be after the vigil. I was hoping before, but Miss Cher was sick. She wasn't feeling good. I didn't want to, I know she had her own lives, and it was probably taking everything she had just to do her stuff for herself. And so she sounds like she's getting better. So once she's at 100%, I would love nothing more than to discuss with her about that August 7th interview. And what I found odd, and a couple of things that I found odd, and I think it was that interview. I could be wrong because I've listened to quite a few interviews over the last about a month, the last 30, 45 days. When we started going, maybe it's been longer than that. Crap, these weeks are running together. But it's been a little minute. And but long story short, there was a statement Don said that kind of just stuck with me. And he said that day that Summer went missing, all those dogs were gone. And I'm thinking, did they follow you wherever you put her? I'd like to know where those dogs went. Because I bet you Summer was probably the nicest to all those animals. And I can just imagine them sitting there and licking her face. And I don't even want to think about it. It's going to make me cry, and it's too early for that. Many people don't realize a lot of us have cried over that little girl. We really have. This case I was never even going to touch, and she sucked me right in. And it's just this puzzle and this circus almost. It's like, how can this be happening over this little girl? Why can't people just get it together? I don't know. Yes. I don't believe it. And again, when I hear that coming out of somebody that touts themselves as a reputable private investigator company, it almost makes them the laughing stock, because it almost sounds like they are intentionally at this point trying to throw law enforcement off. Because if it was an animal attack, it would have been brutal. It would have been noticeable. There would have been something found that would have led investigators. Now, mind you, these men and women in blue, right, here in Hawkins County, live in this area. They know what an animal attack looks like. They've either witnessed it or have been involved in one themselves. So not one time over the last 362 days has one law enforcement agency ever brought that to the attention of the public if they thought it was. So how all of a sudden, all this time later, now it must have been an animal attack? Why is this private investigator so adamant that it's not the Wells? Why are people so adamant that it's not the parents, that they would rather believe everything else, won't even look at the parents, won't even look at it, won't even entertain it? They're so adamant it's everything else. When are these people going to start turning their attention off of everything else and start turning their attention to the Wells and start investigating them? That's what I'd like to know. Because private investigators, whether they've been hired, we've watched private investigators, those real life reality TV things, and many of them have said, I've been hired to do a job. They hire me to do a job. And not 9 times out of 10, but at least 2 times out of 10 or 1 time out of 10, the person that hired him is responsible. And guess what? That private investigator calls them out on their BS and still takes their money because they were hired to do a job that they did correctly. Just saying. Good morning, Sonia. Yep. Easily. Well, we went through that whole dog thing. I didn't realize that there are so many different kinds of elements that can distract dogs. I had no idea. And not only that, but we might want to, maybe we'll dive into a little bit more with cadaver dogs specifically and get some education on them, because I have a funny feeling they're very resourceful. They're very good to have. They do a great job. They save lives. I would say they save lives, but they bring justice to victims. Cadaver dogs have a place. They do their job. They do their job well, but they are still things that can play a role in not finding the target. Oh, we got some more love from the UK. Thank you, FBI. 300 are watching, and I only have 105 likes. What? Come on, guys. You guys are going to be telling me what I am doing today. You guys are going to be telling me what I'm doing today, right? So get those likes up. I'm working for you today. Yeah, the PI was hired by them. They even acknowledged they took money from them. I'm thinking they didn't have money to feed their children properly. Where did they get the money for this PI? They said outside of the initial deposit or something like that. Actually, why not just let's read what it says, right? Read it from the horse's mouth, shall we? So search summer wells. I did a little skit on it, but let me do a PI search, summer wells. And I hate how it says private investigators execute search for summer wells, like it's official. Like these are private investigators that are hired and obviously manipulated very easily. So let's just look at this, see what they have here. Just read it. Let's have a conversation about it. So Rogersville, Tennessee, almost a year after Summer Wells was reported missing, people are continuing to search for missing Hawkins County girl. Don't you, before we get started on this, don't you find it odd that we have not heard about this private investigators, but early on in the case, when we were back there in December, we haven't really heard much from them since. And then now it's getting time to, where the reward, let's think about this. The reward is coming to an end. And now
you had all the power of Frontier Fire.
There we go. And it's getting close to where the reward money is running out. And now all of a sudden they're out there. They're asking neighbors to help them. They're asking, they're wanting to do this search, but they don't have a large enough group for this major search and major area that they want to cover. And I'm like thinking, you know what, if you guys actually were out there every month since she went missing, you would have probably found something or covered a little more ground than you have. It's like, I don't want to be too critical, but it's like, I just don't believe them. I just, at this point, just don't believe them. But who am I? I don't know. I'm not walking in their shoes. I know nothing about them other than when you start throwing up this animal attack, it makes me pause and say, what? I need your help, Betty. I'm happy to help. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to help today or until I get back to Florida, but I'm happy to help any way I can. I don't think so. I mean, if they were able to go there, I definitely should be able to go there. That's what I thought too, but I'm going to read the article to you and let you hear for yourself what it says. I did do it once before, but I was screwing up a lot. I don't think did it either, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. And you know what? Again, I constantly say this, and Justice for All, I think you do too. You know, no matter how we look at this case or who people want to throw in or the next name that's going to be popping up in this case to throw the case into a different area, it does not explain the holes in the wells story that law enforcement's had to go back to them multiple times to try to fill in. And it does not explain their weird and erratic behavior. It just doesn't. Unbelievable. Yep, I agree. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? And it's getting to the point where it's frustrating and irritating that everybody is so busy pointing the finger at every single person else. And I'm not talking about, I'm talking about the opposition. The opposition. Like, for example, cracking cases. When have they ever stepped back and said, okay, let's look at it as if Don and Candace may have done it? We've already went down all these rabbit holes that they couldn't have done it, that it's this, that it's that it's that person, that it's this person. Oh, and they found footprints over here. Oh, they found shoes over here. When are they going to acknowledge none of that means a damn thing and start looking in different directions? They're still, a year later, looking in the same direction, right? They can't say that about me because we've looked at the direction of the abduction. Two different theories, stranger danger and targeted. We've looked at the theory of her wandering off. We've looked at it. We've looked at foul play. We've looked at the people that could be associated with that foul play. Who could that foul play be? Every time we get involved and you follow what people are telling you. You follow the people that are giving you the information that have the firsthand knowledge, not the hearsay, not the people that are, 2 or 3 people disconnected from the wells, but the people that were in and around the wells at the time she disappeared. Every time you look at it, guess what? Every time you really look at it, look at the timeline, look at this, it goes right back to that house, right back to those people. And I'm sorry, but I'm so sick of everybody pointing the finger at somebody. When they sit there and say, okay, we've looked at Don and Candace, we don't believe that they're involved because A, B, C, and D. And we've looked at this person. We don't believe you don't hear that. You hear, well, it could be this. It could be that. It could be that. Everybody else. It's like they put this gate up around the wells and want to make sure everybody else in the entire Hawkins County is checked before they'll even turn their head toward Don and Candace. They got too close. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. They got entirely too close. They feel sorry for them. That's not how you when you're doing investigative work, and even though we're not law enforcement, we're still investigative, whether it's amateur investigative reporters or investigative reporters. It doesn't matter. You cannot get close to the subject. You cannot be buddy-buddy with the subject. It does something to your brain. You feel sorry for them. You have empathy for them. You have sympathy for them. You cannot look at them once you get to know them. I knew that. I've learned that. I've harnessed that. Never, ever get close to a subject. Ever. You cannot break bread with a subject. You cannot have, you can interview them. You can have a good time. That's one thing. But you can't go up and hang out with them. You can't see them and be on a hi, how are you? It does not work. It just does not work. It never works. And I'm sorry, it just doesn't work. Tim Mullins hired them in the beginning. That's what she says. But they don't say Tim Mullins paid them. They said the wells. They didn't say Tim Mullins. They said the wells. I don't trust Jody Sue or Benny. Well, Jody Sue, I think, has already showed her colors. She's a despicable woman. I mean, when she's going to talk about going around and trying to disrupt beautiful vigils for her neighbor, the child that lived across the street from her, she just went to a whole different kind of low and disgusting person. I don't care what her neighbors think of her. I don't care if they like her or think they're good people or not. In my mind, she is a disgusting, despicable woman. If she would like to come there and honor Summer Wells, she needs to come there and honor Summer Wells. If all she wants to do is disrupt this county as if she owns it, she needs to stay her ass at home and stare at her screen and make her viewers listen to silence for another hour or two. She's an idiot. She's an idiot that interjected herself into this investigation and lied. I'm surprised they did not charge her for lying, but you know what? She lives here. They know her. I'm sure they know her from all kinds of other stuff. I haven't even pulled her background, nor do I intend to, because she is insignificant as far as I am concerned. The only thing she is just a neighbor of a missing girl. She has no legitimate information. She has no factual information. And if anybody that has made money off of Summer Wells, it's her and her flipping Christmas list and buying her children everything under the guise of Summer Wells. You know, she's disgusting. I'm sorry. She's disgusting. She is disgusting. She wants to be nice and act like she's got some couth. That'd be one thing. Everybody deserves a second chance, but the way she's acting, I don't trust her. I don't like her. Tom Brown, Molly Miller, and Colt H. They are all officers are crap. Okay, I must have walked in on conversation. Absolutely not. Yes, I am on Messenger. Yes, I am on Messenger. You can reach me at Andra, Andra, Griffin, Griffin. You can recognize me by the lion face. I am the lion face. There's multiple accounts for me, but that's the one. Sorry, it popped back down at the bottom. I see that somebody did a super chat. I'm sorry, I haven't gotten to you. My computer has a mind of its own sometimes. Let's see if I can find you. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna have to go up. Oh, blank stream. Nice, blank screen. Nice to see you. I feel like you're part of the family now. Nobody owns me, just like nobody owns you. I'm not for sale. I'm not a puppet on a string. I don't have a leash. I'm not a dog. So, but to me, it sounds odd and weird that you think that. You know, and haven't you been saying that since I came on YouTube? And I'm still here? And I'm still talking? Nobody shut me up yet? Oh my God, you must be just butthurt. You must have some burnt toast in your mouth. Good morning, by the way, blank screen. How many people, who do you guys think blank screen is? I'm curious. Because somebody said they thought it was the glare, and I'm thinking, I don't know if, the glare is an a-hole, but I don't think he's got time to do all that, but I don't know. I'm still trying to find, and I apologize. There it is. Oh, Vet Girl. I didn't even see you in here. I've been searching all over. I saw that at the top. The animal attack claim from the PI, not LE. That would have been revealed due to possible other attacks. Do the PIs have dogs? That's a question. That's a question, or that's the question? But yeah, I agree. I think that if this was an animal attack, because you got to remember, it would have been an animal attack at that time. It would have been that day. And they said she never wanders off. So that means that animal would have had to come onto that property when she went out that basement door. And you're telling me that mom's fixing the brace on grandma's leg and does not hear an animal attacking her baby girl that would most likely be screaming some of the most horrible, and not just one scream, many, many horrific screams. And, obviously that scream was unfounded that Jody Sue heard. And we know why, because when we look at her text messages with Andy Bernard on June 15th at 2:34, she was not awake. She was sleeping. And a noise woke her up. That's all she heard. It could have been the screen door popping. That's it. Woke her up. It wasn't an animalistic type of scream. She'd have had to been awake to hear something like that. This whole claim with this animal attack is just unfounded. It does not hold water. Anybody with a half a brain cell can critically process, critical thinking and processing to line this up as a whole bunch of hocus pocus BS, in my opinion. Got to keep adding my opinion, right? Don't want people saying I'm on here telling people fact. Well, here's a fact for you. If it was an animal, you would have heard it and you would have saw it. You would have saw something. That's a fact. That is a legitimate fact. That is not an opinion. I have no earthly idea. Great question. Great question. Well, let's get on to the article. Let's just see what this article has to say. We've been at it almost a year. Excuse me, my eyes are messed up. I didn't even bring my reading glasses, so please forgive me, folks. We've been at it almost a year now, so you don't have to look in all areas. We have to look in areas like this in case what idiots, in case there was an animal attack or something of that nature. So this is the guy, Chris Colbo of C&C Investigation. We have to recanvass neighbors and re-interview witnesses in case we're missing something in an abduction type of situation. So we're working on multiple fronts. Dude, have you not heard the FBI, TBI, Hawkins County, people that have more information and have the ability to subpoena power and things of that nature state multiple times there's no evidence of an abduction, and a year later they're still looking at evidence of an abduction, still have not gotten off that theory, still have not thought of anything else other than abduction, never have once taken a good hard look at their own clients, not once. And I think as a private investigator, you're doing yourself a disservice by not thoroughly vetting your own client. You can, I've watched it, many PIs in the past, been hired and paid for by a client that they ended up pointing the finger at. And guess what? They still have to be paid. That's why some of them require a retainer up front. Just because you hire a private investigator doesn't mean they're going to look everywhere else. Now, there are some. Makes you wonder why they chose C&C. C&C Investigations, who are also known for their work in Luke Vance and Thomas Hastings case, have focused their efforts on the search for Summer since last July. I think we need to look into these cases and find out how they helped, how this PI firm has helped in those cases. They may have helped in those cases. They may have not. It may be they may just be a PI to hire for parents that do stupid stuff. Or the cheating spouse trying to point the finger at their spouse as cheating. Maybe they're that kind of PI. I don't know nothing about them. They may not. They may be legit. I don't know. We have to charge something. This is it. And this is untrue because we know Jason Jensen, the PI from Salt Lake City, Utah, donated his services to Sean Paul Schulte in helping with the Sean Paul Schulte case. So we have to charge something when we sign a contract with the Wells. No, you don't. But the rest of this all has to be done free. But the rest of this has all been done. Excuse me, not has to be. It all has been done. So they're basically saying we took a retainer from the Wells, but everything else since that retainer, we're doing pro bono. It's no big deal. Colbo says, I think I'm saying his name. Am I saying his name right? Colbou? Because I'm thinking that says Bo, right? Colbo. Anyways, Colbo explained, we've been very lucky here that we've got a go-to person with local law enforcement, and they have treated us with respect. They may be treating you with respect. They treat us with respect. Doesn't mean that they still like you being here. That's all I'm going to say, right? as we do them, and hopefully we can all work together on the same team to get answered. When you're looking at an animal attack as opposed to Don and Candace or any other person, I'm sure they're scratching their head and saying, okay, go at it. Go out there and break your back and let me know your findings on that animal attack. Cobo says they have used drones to search somewhere around 1,000 acres. And I can tell you, personally speaking, and dealing with the Brian Laundrie case, with as dense as that area is, unless it's open field, those drones aren't doing crap for you. They're not even the ones with a sonar. If the brush is entirely too thick, you are not going to pick up heat or extra cold for that matter. It's just not happening. It's not happening, folks. Another great point in Cher's Live, they are talking about being separated and how Don is going to say he was at work and he won't know anything because he was away. Yeah, well, he's already tried to say that, but I think that they're able to dispute, because you got to remember their law enforcement gets very detailed. For example, if you're saying that you went to work, they're going to ask you what time you went, what route you took. And since this happened in the beginning of the case, those things, most likely a lot of the cameras, like the Dollar Generals, the national the national chains like McDonald's, the hotels around here, Dollar General, Walgreens, Walmart's, probably some of the car washes, probably the gas stations. They all have cameras on them. So they're going to ask them, what time did you leave and what route did you take? And they're going to go to business along your route to make sure that you were where you said you were when you said you were going to be there. And these are in addition to places that you stated that you went. So like when Candace said she went to the hippie house, which has cameras, and Catch 22 and the discount tobacco store and Walgreens and stuff like that. They're going and they ask them what time they were there. And Sonic, they have cameras. I haven't been by the Sonic to see if they have cameras. Maybe I should go there. But they're going to ask you what time were you there, and they're going to subpoena that footage. They're going to ask them for the footage without going through the subpoena process. If they hand that over willingly, then they don't have to go, through the whole process of getting a warrant or to take that stuff from those entities. But they will if they need to. And they can pretty much state whether Don was being truthful or not. Was he where he was supposed to go at the time he was going to go? And if he wasn't, say if he said he was en route, for example, now we're not saying that this is fact at all. We're just using this as an example. So if you're basically there to get views, clout, and of course, baby, I've already got clout. Do you know who I am? Thank you so much. By you being here, it seems to me that you're trying to get clout off Bullhorn Betty. Okay? You are a Bullhorn Betty clout chaser. And I still find it funny. Don't you guys find it funny that this person just can't leave things alone? But anyways, getting back, I digress. So if he says that he took, I don't even know what the names of the roads are. So let's say he took West 26 or East 26. I don't know which way. So don't mark me on this. But if he's on an interstate, he's going there. First of all, interstates have cameras on them, every few miles or, 10 miles or whatever. They have a camera up there for them to look. But you say you're going on West 26th Street and you're heading to, let's say, Jonesboro. I don't know if those connect or not. I really don't know. But maybe West 81, something like that. Okay, well, anyways. And you said you were going to work. You left home at 7:30. They'll know that you're going to be passing by this store between this time and this time. So they're going to go there and see if you pass between that time. They can't find you in the film. They're going to go past. They're going to, at that point, probably say, hey, can we download this video your entire day, and they're going to go through the entire day to find out the specific time, the very second you drove by that store. And then they're going to say, wait a minute, you didn't drive by the store until 10:30. If you left the house at 7:30 in the morning, you would have been driving by that store at 8 o'clock in the morning. Why is there a 2.5 hour time difference between the time you stated that you would have been passing that store and the time you actually passed that store? That's the stuff law enforcement has that private investigators would never be able to get their hands on, that people like me would never be able to get their hands on. That's the information they have behind the scenes that they are not telling the public, because it goes directly to the integrity of the investigation. Blank screen is looking for attention. Oh, poor baby. Poor baby. Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Let's see what you got to say. You made mention of speaking to a neighbor, and he said he heard them calling her name. Did he tell you around the time that was, as it would have happened in the timeline? Yes, it was the timeline that Candace stated when they were out there looking. But the problem I have is, and he actually brought it up himself. He said, look, if she had just wandered off 10 minutes before that, she would have been able to hear their screams. He said, I could hear them. He goes, he made it a point to tell me that his property does not abut theirs, that he is actually along, he's on Ben Hill Road, but he's further down, a lot further down. And he could hear them. I said, well, we talked to the neighbors on the other holler, like across the other side of Beach Creek. And they said that the sound travels. And he goes, it does. He's like, you can hear everything. So he said it, and he even went out of his way to tell me if I would have hollered back, they would have heard me as well. He said, so if Summer was out there at that time, she would have heard them. So she either was not out there or something had already happened to her, because at the end of the day, he even disputed. He himself said, there's no way. He goes, I've got rough calloused feet. He goes, I walk around here on this rock and stuff. He goes, my feet are, they're like tires. They are like tires. I said, so you got rough feet? He goes, that is an understatement. He put his feet up. His feet were Fred Flintstone feet. Hands down. I'm not lying. He showed me the bottoms of his feet. I swear to God. And he said, but I don't see a 5-year-old girl being able to handle it. And he told me flat out, he just doesn't see it. He said, unless she was intentionally trying to run away and trying not to be found, he goes, which I don't believe that happened, because when dark started falling, she would have been scared and wanted to come home. And he's like, and then when she started crying and screaming out there, again, you would have heard her. Nothing. So I'm passing all of your comments right now. I apologize. Did I just see voices behind the wall? Oh, hey girl. Nice to see you. I was just pushing through. Sorry guys, if I missed you, I really do. I really do apologize. There's just a lot of stuff going on. Oh, John Davis is in here too. Sorry I missed you as well. Nice to see you guys. If there's anybody else in here that I need to know about, please write. I'm going to move down to the bottom so I can see it. So I apologize I missed some people, but as you know, I sit here and talk. And I don't pay attention too often to that. Not only that, there's so many people coming in here that the chat just gets crazy. And as creators, you guys understand what I'm talking about. It just gets a little cray-cray. So I definitely agree. Something bothers me about the CC and CNC investigators. Yeah, I think so too. It's just something, it's not settling right with it. And it's like they're kind of patting themselves in the back. And it's like, what did you do? Even the neighbor, he was asked by them to come help search, which I found a little odd. So anything that we find, we can take immediately or directly to law enforcement. First of all, law enforcement doesn't want you touching jack crap. If you find it, you leave it be, right? You'd think a private investigator that's trained, we've made mistakes. You guys have watched. I blast my mistakes on here all the time. Hold on just a second. Yes, ma'am. All right, give me just a second, guys. All right. Mods say that people in here are being nasty, so we will take it away from them. Easy peasy, Japanesey. So, you would think that if you're out there investigating, you would have those little flags, those little metal flags that you can just pop into the ground where it stands up, and you can say, hey, we did find some stuff. We went ahead and marked them. But this idea that anything we find, we would take immediately and directly to law enforcement. When we collaborate together, we are strict. We leave the stuff. We videotape it. We show where it's at. We may poke around, but we leave it and we call law enforcement and direct them to it. We do not remove it and take it to them. So I'm not very comfortable with that statement coming from them because, we're not, I don't know how I feel about that. So anything that we find, we take immediately and directly to law enforcement, and we don't discuss those things with anybody because the last thing we want to do would be hinder the investigation in any way. By removing the item, I think that is, hindrance, Law enforcement feels strongly that there could have been, this is what upsets me. So he is saying, this is his opinion. Law enforcement feels strongly that there could have been an animal attack. Well, if law enforcement felt strongly that there was an animal attack, why has law enforcement never once, ever, not TBI, not FBI, not any investigator that's handling the case at Hawkins County, not the Hawkins County Sheriff, no one involved in this case has ever, like we have went through every single press conference, every single statement from Leslie Earhart, every single statement made from Ronnie Lawson, every single statement. Why is this right before the 1-year marker of Summer Wells' disappearance? Why is this the first time that we are hearing about an animal attack if law enforcement feels so strongly that there could have been an animal attack? There is about as much evidence of an animal attack as there is of an abduction. True story. True story. Let me pull this back. Hold on. True story. So explain that to me. Has anyone ever heard a plea by parents or other creators inserted request? If anyone has seen them or Summer that place, please call LE. Example, you have seen the vehicle, parents at Warrior Park, etc. I haven't heard any of that, to be honest with you, that girl. I mean, you've been following this case just as long, or if not longer, than I have. And I don't think we've ever heard that request. The only request we've heard is of that red truck. And I'm wondering if that red truck is the one that the reason why it got inserted is because of the day that Don Wells saw that truck outside, in that ditch, and he took a picture of it. And I think that's the red truck everybody is speaking of, but don't realize that's what they're speaking of. I really believe that. Is there a secondary red truck? Maybe. But that's the only thing that we have heard law enforcement ask about. And they said that this is a witness as opposed to, a person of interest, which was very interesting, an interesting statement from law enforcement, in my opinion. that they think that this person that was in and around the Wells property in a red truck would be a witness as opposed to a suspect or a person of interest. Don't you find that kind of interesting? It doesn't, and we've never heard law enforcement say, hey, if you saw Candace or Hunter that day or Don Wells that day, please call in. So it kind of leads me to believe they know where they were, and they're trying to fill some holes, because we've heard even out of Don's mouth multiple times that law enforcement has come back to him and said, their timeline isn't right. You need to work on your timeline. And they have to keep going back and work on the timeline. And we find this is added, that is added. Now we have Branda's falling asleep when we've never heard that, but 9 months later she fell asleep. And when you go back to Jody Sue, 5 months later, this little noise that woke her up out of her sleep is now an animalistic scream. I mean, it's getting nuts. It's getting nuts. So and for the folks that are just joining and subscribing, if you can't comment, we had to move the comments to subscriber only, because the evil on YouTube is hitting the streets of Bullhorn Betty. So I do apologize, but I think we got it cleared up. For those that are just subscribing to this channel, please be patient. You will be able to comment. Oh, this is not going to be the last live from me today, or throughout this week. So that is a good point. I'm not laughing, but I'm laughing. But you're right, Gabrielle. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would believe aliens before animals, because there would have been evidence. John, John Davis lives around here. Am I correct about that or no? Does John Davis live around here? I think John lives around here. I mean, just like the neighbor, I'm interested in what your thoughts are on this whole animal attack, especially if you live in this area. I mean, the gentleman that I spoke to yesterday, Richard something or other, he spoke to me. No, he just says that a black bear, and it wouldn't just be a normal black bear; it'd be a cub. It would be a female bear that has cubs that would be more inclined for this attack. And he said if a black bear got a hold of you, everybody would know it. Gotcha. I wonder if it was still the red, even if it was a delivery driver, I'm curious if that red truck was still, if the delivery truck driver saw that red truck and it was the same one that law enforcement was called on. So no evidence of an event. And you would think that would have been evident, when law enforcement was on the ground that day, not a year later. I mean, how can you show evidence of an animal attack a year later? The evidence would have been there in and around that property at the time when all the law enforcement and all the searchers were on there. To me, it just seems like, common sense. But I mean, unless I'm missing something. Is Debbie in here? Good morning, Don. Good morning. Good morning. I'm sorry I missed you. I don't really pay attention to my, thank you for traveling hundreds of miles. Oh, thank you. Yes. Anything for summer. Anything for summer. Timeline should never change. The truth stays the same no matter. I think that's the sentiments of many people that have been following this case. Oh, I agree with that. They do know each other. And actually, that Richard guy said he believes that Andrew and Jody Sue had nothing to do with this, and he believes that they're good people. And I have to concur. I don't see, outside of this case, I don't see outside of Jody Sue having some obvious substance abuse issues, along with that Andy Bernard guy, which many people in the area, it sounds like, they're just like every other area has been consumed in some aspect and respect to having a drug element. And Hawkins County is no different than any other place. So, I mean, it's got its unique features, of course, but, other than that, I think she's, she has nothing to do with this case. I've never believed she had anything to do with this case. I believe, they know each other. Outside of that, I don't believe she has any relevant information that's going to help with this case or to find Summer. It's just like any other neighbor around there. I just don't think they have any information that's going to help bring Summer home or help find her. I think the people that know the most about what happened are not even on the Hill anymore. And I find that a little odd in and of itself. Of course, it's possible, but you would still have evidence of that. You got to think that they would be picking her up with a mouth. If they were mauling her, they would use the claw. You're talking about, large amounts of blood. You're talking about clothing being ripped and shredded. Even if they picked her up with the teeth, she would be screaming. I mean, you're not talking about an instant death. You're talking about a slow, I don't even want to think about it, but it's not that she was like a UFO got her, she just disappeared. There's no signs of her, no nothing. You would have something. There's no way you can have be mauled by an animal in the wild without evidence of being mauled by an animal in the wild. Just like you can't be abducted without having some type of evidence of being abducted. Now, if the house was lower to the ground, if there was an opportunity, if you guys watch that video from 110 Bed Hill Road, you can't even see the house. You can't see the house, but you can definitely hear somebody coming, because one of the things was when we were there in December and January, all the leaves were on the ground. All the leaves were on the ground. All the sticks that have broken off the trees were on the ground. You could hear the crunching and stepping. So, even Olivia said, well, it was probably fuller than this. You wouldn't have all the stuff. Well, I was just there, and there's still all the leaves, all the branches, all the debris, everything on the ground. And then you have thicker foliage to try to navigate through, making it even more difficult. When we were there in January and December and January, it was difficult with it wide open. Now that you have all this crap added to it, and this brush even thicker than that, it makes it next to impossible. I looked at that dog trail that we could clearly see with all the leaves off. And now that all the leaves are back on them, it's covered slap up. Outside of being a dog being able to get up under there, I don't see a grown man or woman climbing and crawling through that. And even if they did climb and crawl through that, you would be able to hear them. You would hear the rustling of the trees. There is a lot of trees around there. Never mind the moat called the creek that runs around the bottom of that property that drops in some places 4 to 5 feet down. Even though it's not deep, you have to drop down into it. It just doesn't make sense to me. I know. I know it sucks though. No, it's not. Summer Moon, Utah Wells, Hawkins County, Tennessee, 6-year-old white female, 4 foot tall, 40 pounds, blonde hair, brown, blue eyes rather. Said it 1,000 times, you would think I'd get it right. Anyone with information of her whereabouts asked to call. Contact TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Just to turn it away from Don and Candace. I think that has been the motive of a group of people that have been hired and signed contracts. And as you heard, I mean, I even have a conversation recorded with Benny Keys talking about this contract he has signed with Don Wells. They were all, whether they've received money, they all were under contract. And these are people that have harassed people. These are people that have, I mean, not the CNS and CNC investigations. I don't want to bumble them into all the other nonsense, but it just seems like all these people have contracts with the Wells and are trying to divert the actual information away from them. They want to point it to every other place possible. At what point are they going to come out with run out of excuses? I'm still waiting. It's like right when you think there's nothing left that they can discuss or point the fingers at. Once there's nobody left, like they point the fingers at every single one of the employees that Don worked with. They pointed the fingers at every one of the tree trimmers that were out there. They pointed the fingers at every one of the neighbors that lived in and around the wells. Now, when they don't have that, which went hand in hand with that abduction theory. Now that they don't have that, now we got to start looking at the animals. It's like, when are you guys going to realize none of this is panning out? When are you going to start diverting your attention to the people that you have been diverting attention away from all this time? At what point are they going to run out of excuses and start diverting their attention to the people that they've been diverting the attention away from? At what point? Because I'm just still waiting for the next thing you know, they probably will start believing in UFOs and that this UFO must have came over and beamed her up. We haven't heard that theory yet. It's coming, folks. Give it time. Give it time. No, you won't be muted for asking that question. I know a lot of stuff gives me pause. Let's see what it says. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that even with that Yelp, it was pretty, you just don't, I guarantee it was bloody. And there was evidence of an animal attack. And again, just like you said, had to leave to get help to take body. There was what? That infamous body. That's what we don't have, right? We don't have, and I'm pretty sure that there was evidence of an animal attack with this gentleman, because you just don't die from a nip in the neck without there being an awful lot of blood coming out of it. I can tell you, this is a little sad for me to even talk about, but many of you guys that have been following me for a while know that my son-in-law was killed on a motorcycle accident. He was driving. It was in Fort Myers. He was heading to work one morning. My stepdaughter was, he was trying to call my stepdaughter, and she had just gotten out of the shower, and she was trying to get to the phone, and she slipped on, she had tile throughout the house, and she slipped on the tile and fell as she was trying to grab the phone. And so once she, dusted herself off and shook off it was a pretty hard fall. She picked up the phone to call him, and he never answered his phone. And somebody, because there was a lot of people, he worked for a big company, so they were passing by, and he had a very specific bike, and they saw him and they stopped because he got into a wreck. A lady, he was driving way too fast, unfortunately. He was on a crotch rocket. Many of you guys know what that is. He was driving way too fast on a road that he shouldn't have been driving that fast on, and a lady went to do a U-turn and did not see him. And he flipped. He would have been injured pretty bad. He could have been killed, just from the hit itself, but that's not what killed him. What killed him was a piece of metal came off his bike and got him right in his carotid. And it was just a little tiny slice on the side of his neck. But there was a massive, and I can't express to you enough the amount of blood that came from that one seemingly small scratch on his neck. And it was from a piece of metal. Now, would he have survived? He may have survived. I don't know. Had that piece of metal not got his neck. The impact, the head injury, would he have, I don't know. But I can tell you that it took that when he was, viewed, it was, it was a pretty big gash, but a gash nonetheless. It was, in the grand scheme of a body, it was a small area that produced this massive amount of blood. So even if there was this animal attack, you're still looking, and even if she was killed by an animal, you're still looking at a massive amount of blood. You're still looking at, evidence of that. You're still looking at torn clothes. You're still looking at a lot of stuff. I think they implicated themselves by being so wishy-washy on the timeline, their behavior after she went missing, the lack of concern in finding her, the lack of effort that they put in finding her, is just sad. For example, many of you guys know I covered the case of Stephanie Stenefield, and the reason why I'm bringing it up again is because even though law enforcement said that they had good leads, that they don't really have a place to search for her, her friends still went out searching for her. This is just her friends. This is not even her family. Her family didn't even live around here. She didn't have family around here. Excuse me, I'm in Tennessee, but I'm talking about at home. No family around there. Her friends made the flyers. Her friends were out there passing out flyers and sticking them up in stores and everything else like that. Her friends did that. Her friends. And you didn't even get that from a 5-year-old girl's parents. They didn't go out. They didn't knock on doors. They didn't. How do you explain that behavior? I mean, just that need to want to know where your kid is. How can you not want that? No matter how many people you bring into this case or you point the fingers out, how do you explain that? Good point, Don. Absolutely a great point. Absolutely a great point. So, but anyways, we're out here in the area. Guys, we're getting to the top of the 2-hour mark. The actual topic we haven't even discussed. So I'm here. What do you guys want to see? Where do I need to go? We went to the water hole yesterday. I'm probably going back for a different kind of recording today. I don't want to spoil the surprise. I'm going to be meeting with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department. I won't be there very long, just long enough to find out where we're setting up and tell the people, the volunteers, all the information that I need to know, record that, record the area we're going to have. I've got some questions for law enforcement that I don't believe they've answered quite yet, but I'm not sure. And so what areas have we not looked or have we not gotten content on that you guys would like to see? Does anybody have any ideas? I know that many people have been like, go look here or go look there. Well, I'm here today. I've got this afternoon and all morning tomorrow to go to these places that either haven't been searched or haven't been previewed. If you guys are thinking of a place that needs to be checked out, now's the time. Train tracks. Actually, let me get a pad of paper. So what are we looking at here? So we got train tracks. Mountains that Don kept talking about. Do you know the names of the mountains? I know we went to a few of the mountains when we were here in January. BL, I'm sure somebody will be streaming the vigil live. I'm not sure who that will be. If nobody's going to, and there is good service, I will stream it live myself. I've got some selfie sticks / tripods that I can use, but I'm sure somebody or multiple people will be streaming it live. Many of you know I'm kind of emceeing the event, and so you know, it's going to be kind of difficult for me to live stream emceeing. Good morning. Go to a place. Good morning. Go to the place where you've been with the tire tracks in the grass. Get out and walk around. I can't remember where that was. Is that, are you talking about recently? Spike? Anyone know where that barrel that had for sale went? For some reason, I still thought it was on the property somewhere, but I can't be 100%. I don't know, as a matter of fact. I really don't. Let's see what Snow has to say. I have done hundreds of hours of research and studies on bear. In my opinion, those bears wouldn't even come close to the dogs on their scent. They don't eat much meat. The bears in those woods eat berries. Interesting. That's interesting. Didn't know that. Honestly, I don't know. It seems like the interest, and again, it comes back to even these private investigators are kind of giving us telltale signs because, you know, for example, in an abduction, it's a snatch and grab, right? Snatch, grab, and run, right? So if somebody were to go on there and snatch this child, they're going to want to get the hell out of Dodge as quickly as possible. You know, for people, even their own private investigators, to still be searching between Ben Hill and Fields, it seems like that's a little too close to home. So they're already they're already acknowledging that this abduction theory doesn't hold water, because in an abduction theory, that child would not be in and around that area. And again, that's my opinion. That's not fact. That's just, you know, the way I process stuff. I'm looking at it, you know, think about it. If you, I mean, you got to put yourself in this abductor's shoes. Are you going to stick around when people are sitting there hollering for this child with this child? No, you're going to get the hell out of Dodge. You're going to get out of there as quickly as possible and get as far away as possible as you can possibly get. Garbage, fish, bugs, crap like that. Okay. Thank you for doing this for the simple one. Everyone that's going to vigil. Oh, thank you. Absolutely. I can tell you, this vigil wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for everybody else. This is not, again, this is not something, this is not for Bullhorn Betty. This is for Summer Wells. And it wouldn't even be half of a success as if it wasn't for all of you, if it wasn't for all these creators coming together to make this event a success. Yeah, but you know, you got to understand, I'm sure the people that didn't allow law enforcement probably has a reason why they wouldn't allow law enforcement onto their property. We're not going to go into that because I don't want to disparage people, but I guarantee you that the people that didn't want law enforcement on their property probably went out there and looked themselves to make sure that there was nothing there. And if they needed to hide something to call law enforcement, if say for example, they did find Summer in a shed or something like that they wouldn't allow law enforcement to look at, I'm pretty confident that whatever they didn't want law enforcement to see, they would have, you know, removed and then called law enforcement to come out there. I do believe that, you know, even people that do bad things are, you know, good people. So for example, just because you're a drug, you have drug issues doesn't make you a despicable person that's going to do heinous things. It just means you have a drug problem. You know, I can tell you that there are a lot of people out there that have drug problems that have seen despicable crimes and acts of violence and still came forward and said, you know what, I have a drug problem. I didn't want to get involved, but this I have to get involved in because I saw this or I witnessed that. So I don't think, you know, even if there was somebody out there moonshining, they don't want law enforcement up their crawl, you know. But I guarantee they most likely all went out there and searched for that baby girl, because I can't think of, for example, we had that author from the Cornbread Mafia people, right? And that author told us that, these people had families. They would never do anything to a child. They have their own children. They're a little wild and everything like that, but they would not be involved and the reason why I'm saying that is because I have to think that the neighbors are kind of like that as well. The ones that are, out there a little bit, but they don't want bad things to happen to a beautiful child. They have children of their own in most cases. I can go there. I just need to know where that is. I'll have to do some legwork to find that. Behind Eastment by the water. I was actually there and I didn't see anything. Moonlight. I was there whenever I did the Reverend Donna's map. There are no dogs. I was there yesterday. There are no dogs being tied to the shed. There's no animals there at all. All the animals are gone. They're either gone or dead, or moved on and moved to another house. But there's no animals there. And the reason why I know is because the animals, every time that we've gone there, they've come down the holler over this way, or come down the mountain over this way, or come down from the Wells property over this way. For whatever reason, when they see us, they come running, because in most cases they're wanting food. They're gone. The animals are gone. They hopefully go to great homes and have thriving lives and never have to struggle for food or water again. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Oh, wow. You guys are, I'm probably gonna have to start putting slow mode on. Oh my goodness. Where am I at? Holy crap. You guys have just been writing. Okay. Slow up just a little, slow up just a little. I got to get back to where I was. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you guys for your prayers. It happened several years ago, but it was really rough. But, I was just, all I can do is apply my experiences to, things, the stuff I don't know, I have to read about, but the stuff I do know, I have to explain. Oh, okay. I must have misunderstood you. Even if I scream, there would have been evidence. Yes. Thank you. Okay. I did misunderstand that. Yeah, we were there, but you know what? It's going to take, at this point, I think that, we were talking, and some people in here were talking about that ground penetrating sonar would probably be the most appropriate tool to use. And I don't know if law enforcement has used that or not, or has gotten permission to go on the property from the owners. And some people said, well, you would think that the owners of those properties would want to know. And I'm thinking, well, did they even know that Don was the worker on their property to want to know? Because I'm telling you, there was people in that neighborhood when we went there, when Don gave us that run around all for like 2 solid days, and we finally showed up at his work. The neighbors in the neighborhood didn't know that. They knew about Summer Wells, but they didn't know Summer Wells' dad was working on those homes. They didn't want him in that neighborhood when they found out. Because again, just like many of us, when we did the poll on who thought, the parents were responsible and guilty of her disappearance, it was an overwhelming, I want to say 91% that have believed, between 81 and 91. I can't remember the specific number. I don't want to do that. And then somebody say, oh, it was only 81%. So it was a very high number, a significantly higher number, like 81% or higher. to be on the safe side, that people believe that they did it. So the people around here are also in that 81 percentile. And there was only 6% of people that actually believed that they had nothing to do with it. 6%, only 6% believe that they have nothing to do with it. So the people in and around this area, there are a few that don't believe that they had anything to do with it, but the majority of the people in and around here believe they did. Does it, just because somebody thinks you did something doesn't mean you did it. I just want to make sure that I'm clear on that. But in the grand scheme of things, it just seems like a lot of people are on the same wavelength, that their story doesn't match up, that the information that they provided doesn't hold water. I mean, some of it does. There is some of the truths, but there are a lot more lies than the truths, in my opinion. Someone at least go by and show. Okay, so now I'm back where we were. Okay, hopefully it doesn't pop up on me again. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I saw a picture of the inside shed, had an old stove. Do they search for ashes inside? Good question. I don't know. I'd have to believe that they had the dogs in there, because they were very specific that they searched every outbuilding. They searched every crevice on that property. They had the dogs out there. They had multiple dog teams. We had a live going through all the different types of dogs that there are and what types of dogs were used on Summer Wells property. We also discussed what could cause, inaccurate hits from the dogs and things of that nature. But that was a very good video. If you guys haven't gone back and watched it, it is, I'll pop it up and show you which one it is. It was it wasn't as lively as most of my lives are, because we were kind of all learning a little bit together on that. Where is it? What in the world happened to it? I know it's got to be on here. There it is. Okay. For those that would like to learn, I guess I got to bring it in. For those that would like to learn about the dogs, it's this one right here. It says what dogs were used in Summer Wells right here. This is the one right here. It has her face, it's the orange background, and it has the dogs. So if you guys are interested in learning a little bit about, the dogs, the type of dogs used, and things of that nature, that's where you can go for that. But I have to think that the dogs were there, and they said that they searched. I believe them. I believe law enforcement. If they said they did something, they did something. Summer is probably somewhere between Don's work and home, and that's what many people believe. Last time we were there, I have to go back and look. I'm sorry, I just don't remember. I know I've been here multiple times. Yes, I've already met a couple people. There's more people coming into town, and I will be meeting with them. They may have repainted the barrel. The barrel is purple now. Gotcha. We went to Bays Mountain. There's that mountain, believe it or not, is there's a lot of people that go there. You have to pay to go inside the mountain. I don't see Don Wells and them paying to go there, but even if they didn't, there's just so many people that are in and around Bays Mountain. When we went there, I think it was our January trip. I'll have to find the videos. I never came out. That's actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because I never aired that content, but we did search Bays Mountain. The dirt under it was hard as a rock, so that was literally decorative. And we reached out the people that actually placed that there, which were disconnected from Don and Candace, came out and told us that they were the ones that actually placed that there with a plan in it. It sounds like to me, Graham, it was the Wells. They're not going to do that. Mm-mm. Interesting. Okay, let's read this. I live about 2 hours less from Ben Hill, Kentucky side, and the bears in my holler just eat the trash. And soon as they see you, they run with the trash bags. Some people here feed them. I never advocate for feeding any wild animal, just to let you know, but they've got to eat. But that's what the neighbor had told me yesterday, is that if they smell you or see you, they run the other way. I mean, they're not, they just don't come and say, "Ooh, lunch." It just doesn't happen like that. So, okay, so I feel like they sold her. Yeah, we've been hearing a lot of that. The PI said they prayed and God led them straight to back Vance people had been searching for days. So did they, I'll have to look into that. Does that mean that they actually helped in that case? Did they find that child? Was it them or, okay, so, okay, let me get down to the bottom. Northern Light, nice to see you. Gabrielle Scholes, that's actually not a bad idea. I don't know if they would. So let me just. I don't know if they will. I don't know if they will. And it sucks, Northern, because you just got here and I'm kind of piping it down. I went over just a little bit and it's already 9:30. So guys, I've got to run. I've got this full day. I'm going to go look at the train tracks. I'll see about getting some other places, and I will be back over while you guys are here today. Start thinking of other places that you'd like to see. So when I come live later this afternoon, you guys can tell me, if you think of any other place. All my sleuths start getting out. About to jump my last flight, almost there. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for you to be here, Guidance. I can't wait. It's time for us to sit and chit chat. Oh, by the way, Guidance, you're saying our prayer. So I didn't even reach out to anybody after you kind of offered. So yeah. Yes, I will all be safe, and we are all using the buddy system. So we're going to be good, and I will see you guys soon. But please, start sleuthing, start looking in places that you think are important. And don't just say, "Oh, go here." Tell me the place where it's at, because I really don't have time to look up addresses and locations. If you guys can send the address or the location, or then if you guys, there's a gazebo that somebody told me that I needed to look in and around. I don't know what park the gazebo is in. I don't know where that gazebo is located in that park. Any kind of information like that you can help me with would make that realized a lot quicker, because if I've got to stop everything I'm doing to do research, I probably won't look into it. I've got entirely too much on my plate right now to do that. So any help that you guys can provide, please start listing them. And when we come live, I've got a notepad. We'll start writing stuff down, and I will get on the ball and start checking it out. With that being said, guys, I love each and every one of you. God bless. Go make it a great day. We are here still praying and hoping summer comes back here safely. For all those that are watching, Summer Moon Utah Wells is now 6 years old. She disappeared on June 15th, 2021. She was 5 years old. She has blonde hair, blue eyes. She was 3 foot, probably 4 foot tall now. She was 40 pounds when she disappeared. Anybody with any information of where she was, if you actually physically saw her, saw Candace, saw Grandis, saw Hunter on that day, on June 15th, 2021, in question, please, you're asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. If you have any information to Summer Wells' whereabouts, again, you are asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. People are eagerly trying to find her whereabouts. If you guys are in and around the Rogersville, Jonesboro, Hawkins County, Sullivan area, and you have a property, a large property, and if there's trash on it, boxes, duffel bags, totes, please look inside those. Please look inside those today. Don't wait another minute. Anything that you can do to help would be greatly appreciated. If you find any evidence of something out of the ordinary that just doesn't sit right with you, please, again, call 1-800-TBI-FIND. God bless each and every one of you.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.